The human ship drifted in silence at the edge of dead space. Its engines were gone. Its weapons were dark. The hull was torn open like a wound that would not close. Inside the ship, Captain Elias Rowan sat alone, listening to the slow warning beeps fade one by one. Power was dying. Air was leaking. Time was running out. He had been running for days. The attack had come without mercy. Pirate fleets. No warnings. No words. They wanted the cargo, but more than that, they wanted proof. Proof that humans were weak. That humans did not belong in this region of space. Elias had fought as long as he could, but one ship could not face many. In the end, his crew had evacuated. Escape pods were launched. He stayed behind to cover them. That choice had saved others. It had doomed him. Now the pirates were gone, bored with a broken ship that could not fight back. They left him drifting, knowing space would finish what they had started. No one would come this far for a single human. No one ever did. Elias checked the last system still alive. A weak distress signal blinked on the screen. It was old tech. Slow. Easy to ignore. He activated it anyway. Not because he believed help would come, but because humans were taught to stand until the end. Outside the ship, stars burned cold and distant. Hours passed. Maybe days. Elias lost track. His breath grew slow. His vision blurred. He thought of Earth. Blue oceans. Quiet skies. He thought of his crew. He hoped they had made it home. Then the sensors flickered. Movement. Elias forced himself upright. His hand moved to the console, fingers shaking. The screen cleared slowly. A ship appeared. Not human. Long and curved, with strange lights along its sides. Alien design. Unknown registry. Elias felt no hope. Only fear. Aliens did not help humans. They watched. They traded. Sometimes they attacked. But help? Never. Humans were seen as loud, stubborn, dangerous. Not worth the risk. The alien ship slowed. It did not fire. A voice came through the speakers. Soft. Careful. Translated into broken human language. Human vessel, you are damaged. Elias laughed, a weak sound. That's one way to say it. There was a pause. Long. As if the beings on the other side were arguing. Finally, the voice returned. We can assist. But it is dangerous. Elias closed his eyes. He knew what they meant. Helping a human meant making enemies. Pirates. Empires. Everyone watched what humans owed and what they repaid. Then don't, Elias said. You don't owe me anything. Another pause. The alien ship moved closer. Mechanical arms extended. Lights scanned the human hull. Airlocks sealed. Repairs began. Slow, careful, precise. Elias watched in silence, not trusting what he was seeing. No demands. No weapons aimed at him. Just help. Inside the alien ship, the decision had not been easy. Their kind had suffered before for choosing the wrong side. Humans were powerful, unpredictable. Helping one could bring war. But leaving him to die felt worse. Elias was taken aboard. Given air. Given water. His wounds were treated. No chains. No guards. Just quiet respect. You could have left me, Elias said later, speaking to the alien commander through a translator. Yes, the commander replied. But we did not. Elias nodded. He understood. Humans lived by the same rule, even when the galaxy laughed at it. Days later, his ship was repaired enough to travel. Not fast. Not armed. But alive. Before leaving, Elias stood at the airlock. He looked at the alien crew. He did not know their names. He did not know if he would ever see them again. "You saved my life," he said. "Humans don't forget that." The commander tilted its head. "We do not seek reward." Elias smiled. A tired, human smile. "Good," he said. "Because this wasn't a reward." He stepped back onto his ship. Engines lit weakly. The alien vessel pulled away, already turning back toward the dark. As the human ship limped into hyperspace, no one noticed. No records were filed. No messages were sent. To the galaxy, nothing had happened. But in human space, a name was logged. A debt was written. And one day, the galaxy would learn what it meant when humans remembered. The galaxy moved on as it always did. Wars ended. New borders were drawn. Old enemies became quiet, and new ones rose from the dark. Trade routes shifted. Powers grew and faded. In the noise of galactic history, the story of one broken human ship was lost. The alien world that had helped the human return to its normal life. They were not warriors. They were builders, traders, thinkers. Their cities grew along crystal seas and quiet moons. They believed survival came from staying small, staying neutral, and staying unnoticed. Helping the human had broken one of their oldest rules. At first, nothing happened. No ships returned. No threats came. Time passed, and fear slowly faded. Some said the choice had been foolish. Others said it had been right. In the end, most simply forgot. Years passed. Far away, Captain Elias Rowan did not forget. He returned to human space injured but alive. His report was simple. No drama. No speeches. Just facts. One line, however, was marked and saved. An unknown species aided a human vessel without demand or threat. That line went into archives. Quiet ones. The kind only certain people read. Elias continued his service. He flew again. He fought again. Humans expanded deeper into space. They learned. They adapted. They built ships that were stronger, faster, and quieter. The galaxy watched and grew uneasy. Humans did not boast. They prepared. Back on the alien world, trouble began slowly. First came strange ships at the edge of their space. Then came demands. Taxes. Control. A rising empire had noticed them. The empire was large, cruel, and confident. It believed fear was enough to rule. The alien leaders tried to negotiate. They offered trade. They offered silence. They offered obedience. It was not enough. The empire attacked without warning. Defense stations fell in minutes. Ships were destroyed before they could escape. Cities burned from orbit. The alien people had never seen war like this. Their shields failed. Their weapons were old. Allies stayed silent. They were alone. As the attacks grew worse, old debates returned. Should they have stayed hidden forever? Should they never have helped anyone? Some remembered the human. Some said his kind would never come. Humans were busy with their own wars. Still, one voice spoke up. A historian. Old. Quiet. Forgotten by most. She remembered the human's words. Humans don't forget. With no other options left, the leaders agreed to try. Not because they believed it would work, but because there was nothing else to lose. They powered an ancient transmitter. Long range. Weak. The kind used for distress calls no one answered anymore. The message was simple. It did not ask for revenge. It did not ask for war. It said only this. We once helped one of yours. Now we ask for help. The signal left their world and entered the dark. Days passed. Nothing happened. The Empire tightened its grip. More ships arrived. The alien world prepared for the end. Evacuation plans failed. Shelters filled. Children were hidden deep underground. The leaders watched the sky and waited for fire. Far away, in human space, the signal arrived. It reached a relay station at the edge of Terran territory. An old one. Automated. Forgotten. The message was flagged and stored. No alarm sounded. But a human officer reviewing old data noticed it. The wording felt wrong. Too calm. Too honest. He traced the archive record. Found the old report. Found the name. Elias Rowan. Within hours, the message was forwarded. Quietly. Securely. To ships, to stations, to commanders who understood what it meant. No orders were given. None were needed. On distant human vessels, captains paused. They read the message. Some were veterans. Some were new. All understood the same truth. Someone had helped one of theirs when no one else would. Across human space, engines powered up. Courses were changed. Fleets began to move. Not for conquest. Not for glory. For a debt. And in the burning skies of a forgotten alien world, no one yet knew that help was already on its way. The message did not arrive like a scream. It arrived like a whisper. Across human space, the signal moved through quiet channels. Old relays. Secure networks. Personal links shared between captains who trusted each other more than any command structure. The message carried no symbols of rank. No threats. No demands. Only memory. On a patrol ship near the edge of Terran space, a young captain read the message twice. Then a third time. He checked the source. Old coordinates. Forgotten region. He felt a strange weight settle in his chest. He opened a second file attached to the signal. An incident report. Years old. A human ship left to die. An alien world that chose to help. The captain leaned back in his chair. He did not smile. He did not speak. He simply reached forward and changed course. On a mining defense cruiser far from Earth, an older commander paused mid-briefing. He raised one hand, silencing the room. His eyes moved slowly across the screen as he read. "I was there," he said quietly. No one asked what he meant. He dismissed the meeting and walked to the bridge. "Prepare for long-range travel," he ordered. "Full readiness. No broadcast." On a medical transport, a human doctor recognized the name of the world in the message. She remembered a story told during training. A story about kindness in a cold place. She forwarded the signal without comment. One by one, ships responded. No announcement echoed across human space. No flags were raised. There was no call to arms. Humanity did not shout when it moved. Humanity listened. Deep in Terran archives, the name Elias Rowan appeared again. Old records unlocked. Details filled in. The story became clear. A single human. A single choice. A single act of help. That was enough. At Fleet Command, officers noticed movement on their screens. Ships changing direction. Fuel requests rising. Supplies moving without orders. At first, they thought it was an error. Then they read the message. Silence filled the command chamber. One officer finally spoke. "Do we stop them?" The admiral shook his head. "No." "But there was no order," another said. The admiral looked at the growing list of active ships. His voice was calm. "There doesn't need to be. Across colonies and stations, the same scene repeated. Captains paused. Crews asked questions. Answers were short. They helped one of ours. That was all anyone needed to hear. As human ships gathered, something else happened. Old rivalries faded. Borders blurred. Independent captains joined military fleets. Cargo ships armed themselves and followed. Humanity moved as one without ever saying it would. In the dark, hyperspace lanes lit up. Far away, the alien world burned. The Empire's ships filled the sky. Cities lay in ruins. Defenses failed one by one. The alien leaders watched from underground shelters as reports grew worse. They did not speak of hope anymore. Only survival. The historian who had sent the signal waited in silence. She did not expect an answer. Humans were powerful, but distant. Years had passed. Memories faded. Then the sensors screamed. Energy readings spiked beyond anything recorded. The Empire's fleet paused. Confusion spread through their command channels. Space itself seemed to bend. A hole tore open in the stars. Then another. Then dozens more. Hyperspace ruptures bloomed across the sky like wounds in reality. The first human ship emerged slowly. Massive. Calm. Silent. Its weapons remained cold. Its formation perfect. Then another appeared. And another. The alien world watched in shock as the sky filled with Terran vessels. Old models. New designs. Ships from every corner of human space. Military. Civilian. Armed transports. Medical carriers. An armada without banners. The Empire reacted too late. Human fleets did not rush. They did not shout. They formed lines with impossible precision. Space around the alien world changed. Controlled. Claimed. A single transmission cut through all channels. This is Terran fleet presence. No threats followed. No warnings. Only one sentence. We have received the call. On the alien world below, the historian closed her eyes. Humans had come. And the galaxy was about to remember why that mattered. The human fleets did not rush forward. They did not fire the moment they arrived. They did not speak loudly or threaten the enemy. They simply took position. Across the sky above the alien world, Terran ships formed lines so perfect they looked planned years in advance. Heavy battleships moved to the front. Smaller escorts spread wide. Medical ships stayed behind, already preparing for what would come next. The enemy empire watched in confusion. Their commanders expected rage. Humans were known for emotion, for sudden violence, for reckless courage. But what they saw instead was control. Discipline. Silence. That silence was worse. The empire's leaders argued. Some wanted to attack first. Others warned that provoking humans was a mistake. But pride ruled them. They believed numbers still mattered. They believed fear still worked. They were wrong. A single Terran ship moved forward. Larger than most. Its hull carried scars from old wars. Its engines glowed steady blue, not hot with anger, but cold with purpose. A transmission was sent. Not to the Empire. To the alien world below. We are here, the message said. Shelter. Do not fire. The alien leaders could not speak. They could only watch as hope returned in a form they never expected. Then the human ship turned its signal outward. To the occupying fleet, the human voice said, calm and clear. You are attacking a protected world. The Empire replied with laughter. Their message was filled with threats, insults, and demands for surrender. The human response was short. This world helped one of ours. There was a pause. Then the Terran voice continued. Leave now. The Empire fired. Energy beams cut through space, aimed at the human front line. Shields flared. Human ships absorbed the attack without moving an inch. No counterfire followed. The Empire fired again. Stronger. Desperate. Still, humans did not respond. The silence stretched. Long enough for doubt to creep into enemy minds. Then the Terran commander gave one order. Disable. Human ships moved as one. Precision strikes hit enemy weapons systems. Engines failed. Communications died. Ships spun helplessly through space. Not destroyed. Not yet. Just stopped. The Empire panicked. They had expected chaos. Instead, they were being taken apart calmly, piece by piece. Human boarding teams launched. Not screaming. Not brutal. Efficient. Doors were breached. Commanders were captured. Resistance ended quickly. Above the alien world, the sky changed. The burning stopped. Human medical ships descended. Supplies followed. Engineers repaired damaged cities. Shields were raised. Fires were put out. Children were pulled from ruins by human hands. The aliens watched in silence. These were the same humans the galaxy had mocked. The same humans others had feared. And yet here they were, rebuilding before celebrating victory. One alien leader finally spoke to the Terran commander. You came for one life, the leader said. Why bring so many? The Terran commander paused before answering. Because one life mattered, he said. And because we do not know which one will matter next. The Empire's fleet was forced to withdraw. Those who could still move fled. Those who could not were taken. No executions followed. No cruelty. Humans did not need revenge. The message was already clear. As the last enemy ship vanished into hyperspace, a new transmission spread quietly across the galaxy. Humans had intervened. Not for territory. Not for power. For memory. Other species listened. They watched the recordings. They replayed the moment the Terran fleets arrived without rage, without mercy, without hesitation. And they understood something too late. Humans were not dangerous because they were violent. Humans were dangerous because they remembered. On the surface of the alien world, the historian stood beneath a repaired sky. Human ships hovered above, silent guardians preparing to leave. She sent one final message to Terran command. We never expected this. The reply came quickly. We did. The human fleets began to depart. No flags planted. No bases built. No demands made. They left supplies, defenses, and quiet instructions for survival. As hyperspace gates opened and Terran ships vanished, the alien world stood safe, changed forever. They had helped one human once. Now they understood what that truly meant. And across the galaxy, every watching power took note. Because next time, the call might not come from kindness. And humanity would still answer. The last human ships did not leave all at once. Some stayed behind longer than expected. Medical vessels remained in orbit, their crews working without rest. Engineers rebuilt power grids, repaired shield generators, and restored communication towers. Supply ships unloaded food, water, and materials enough to last for years. None of it came with contracts. None of it came with demands. The alien leaders did not know how to respond. In the galaxy, help always had a price. Protection always became control. But the humans asked for nothing. When questioned, their answers were simple. This is not payment, one Terran officer said. This is closure. The historian watched the humans work and tried to understand. She remembered the day the broken human ship had appeared near their space. Back then, the human had been weak, dying, alone. Helping him had felt small. Almost meaningless. Now she knew better. When the last enemy prisoner was taken away and the sky finally grew quiet, a single human ship remained above the world. Smaller than the others. Older. Marked with wear. It requested permission to land. The alien leaders agreed. The ramp lowered, and a human stepped out. Older now. His hair touched with gray. His posture still strong. The historian recognized him instantly from archived images. Captain Elias Rowan. He walked slowly across the landing platform, taking in the rebuilt city, the calm faces, the sky no longer filled with fire. "You survived," the historian said. "We did," Elias replied. "Because of you." He met with the leaders in private. No guards. No weapons. Just words. "You could have ruled this place," one leader said. "The galaxy would have allowed it." Elias shook his head. "We didn't come to own anything." "Then why come at all?" Elias looked at the city beyond the window. At children playing beneath human-built shields. At lights slowly returning to life. "Because we owe debts," he said. "And because we pay them fully." When Elias returned to his ship, the final Terran fleet departed. Hyperspace closed. Silence returned. But the galaxy did not forget what it had seen. Recordings spread. Stories traveled. Not exaggerated. Not dramatic. Just facts. Humans had crossed half the galaxy to defend a world that once showed mercy to a single human. Trade councils debated. Empires reconsidered old plans. Pirates changed routes. Border fleets adjusted patrols. And somewhere, far from the alien world, a human training officer told new recruits a story. "Kindness," he said, "is not weakness. It is a signal." The lesson spread. Some species reached out to humans for alliance. Others stayed distant, careful not to offend. A few tested boundaries and learned quickly. Humanity did not change. They expanded. They explored. They fought when needed. They protected when it mattered. Years later, a new distress signal traveled through space. From a different world. A different species. The message was short. "We helped one of yours." Human captains read it. They did not ask questions. They did not hesitate. Across human space, engines powered up once more. Because the galaxy had learned something important. Humanity did not answer every call. But when they did, they answered together. And in quiet corners of space, where fear once ruled, hope now existed. Not because humans were saviors. Not because they were heroes. But because they remembered. They helped one human once. Years later, humanity answered the call. And the galaxy would never forget that either.